We're here for sports marketing too, and we're going to look at digital marketing today. So it's another long one, but it has relevance for both your CA and your exam. So it's probably a good idea to watch it a couple of times in the lead up to the exam as well. So the learning outcomes for this topic are looking at websites, social media, online advertising, email marketing, and SEO, search engine optimization. And we have touched on some of these before, and that will serve as a reinforcement of those ideas. So I am aware of that. Excuse me. So we'll move on from that. Did I change the order of these? Sorry. Okay, so we're going to start with websites. So have a look at the websites for Elvery Sports and Lifestyle. And what do you see is different? Are they targeting the same audience? Do you think they're targeting you in that audience? So take a moment to have a look. So a website is made up of content, design, and usefulness for a target audience. So it's always designed with a certain group of people in mind. You may or may not be in that target group. So the next time perhaps you're looking at a website and giving out about it, or you're maybe take a critical look at it and see who would you, if you were to guess, who do you think this is aimed at? And do you think it's correct in who they're aiming at? Perhaps they've gotten it wrong. So websites can also have an e-commerce element so that you can actually buy stuff on the website and pay through the checkout process. So a website must address the needs of a target audience. So let's look at some stats. Excuse me. 59% of consumers said that if a business has no online presence, they would be less likely to do business with them. And that goes for even going into the shop. Some people like to research online and then purchase offline. ROPO, as it's called. 66% of customers say that if a business has a poor online presence, they would be less likely. So 59% are talking about no online presence. They're less likely to do business. But even if they have a poor presence, then an even greater number say they're less likely to do business with them. 65%, so these numbers are all relatively close to each other, so it's usually the same people, one might gather. 65% bounce off a website in the shopping cart pages. So this bounce rate is when you a customer goes into a website, they may click certain things to add to the basket, but they never complete the sale. So they've bounced out. Sports consumers are no different. Everyone are just consumers at the end of the day, and marketing is just marketing at the end of the day. So, so let's look at the investment in websites. The majority of business websites haven't received enough investment. They are postcard or brochure websites carrying basic unchanged information about the company, its location, and its product or service. So the age of the static or brochure website is gone. This does not work. Our consumers want more than that. And COVID has accelerated this. It has increased some businesses' capabilities because it was a needs must situation. they either did business online or they didn't do business. So a lot of companies that previously weren't trading online developed that capability. But still, some websites just, went with just having that presence, this static website that's not very useful, not very engaging, and so on. So websites need to become sticky. As the term is, when your customers land on your website, we don't want them to bounce out again. So we want them to stay, so to stick and to browse, look at some new content, even if they don't actually complete the sale on that particular occasion, that maybe if they spend some time on it, they've seen something they like, maybe they'll come back again another time. If they bounce out very quickly, it's a bad sign. And these people who bounce quickly are unlikely to come back. So they will browse if you have changing content, new products, videos, images, articles, something to engage them, in other words. So special offers and human stories and a link to review websites can keep your website fresh and up to date. In 2018, only 34% of websites could process payment. So a third roughly of websites, and also a third were using video, which is quite low given the preference for a lot of target audiences for content to consume content in video format. Only 57% of sites were mobile responsive. So that means that they were suitable to be viewed on a mobile phone. You may have experienced some websites where you open it and if you open it on your phone, it looks different. It's sort of compressed, and yeah, it just doesn't seem to work too well. You have to zoom out and you have to take further steps to be able to read anything or see anything properly, whereas when you open it on a laptop, it looks fine. So they haven't put in the coding that allows it to be viewed in a user-friendly manner on the phone. And it's not that complicated, but it does take coding. It does take somebody knowing what they're doing to program the website to be able to do that. Whilst these statistics are a little old, so nearly 5 years old, they are still relevant. So we'll look at some examples. So we're all familiar with the search process on Google, the classic example of a search engine. We place a selection of words into Google as we hope to find a website. So we do a search. Consumers are searching through Google and other search engines. These words are called keywords. So whatever that phrase is or word, the next time you're doing a Google search, whatever you type in there from a marketing point of view, that's what we call keywords. A high-performing word or phrase that people use to search for a product or service or solution. So the search engine trawls the internet using highly sophisticated algorithms to identify websites that they believe most closely match the searcher's requirements. Campsites in France is a keyword term. So if people are looking to do family holiday in France at some of those campsites, holiday sites, they may put in something like that. So that would be a keyword. If you're running a holiday place, perhaps you might consider, factor that into your planning of your website. So if your website doesn't have the keywords that your customer uses, it won't be found. So if one particular campsite in France doesn't have the phrase somewhere in the website saying campsite in France, literally that exact phrase peppered throughout the website on different pages and so on, it's less likely to come up on the search, and particularly less likely to be on the first page of the search. think of the last time you did a Google search. How many people turned the page? You just tend to look at the first 10 options that come up on your list. So we're all from, sorry, did I duplicate that? Okay. So for instance, if you search for a drink that gives me energy, I don't know if anyone would ever do that, but let's just lifestyle have the keyword isotonic drink, there will be no match. So if that's something that you think your customers might be searching, then that's a phrase, a phrase you have to have. So it's about staying up to date with what you think your customers might be putting into search engines and so on. And that could be through asking, doing surveys, doing your own research, looking at other people's surveys and publications to see what keywords are coming up in a particular product area. And Google have their own publications of popular search terms. So it might be worth looking at that. So you need to understand what keywords your customer is using for your type of product. You can do this by social listening. So you can use an app. I've mentioned Hootsuite before. It's a classic example of one of these social listening tools. And you place keywords in there and it'll test them out for you. So if you put in isotonic drinks and no one is talking about them, you know that's not a good one to use. So you can keep going, keep trying to use different ones, and it has the research in there. So the following are ways in which your website and you, the marketer, can interact with the customer. So firstly, get them to join a mailing list. Make sure you get them but you have to make sure to give them an unsubscribe option. People don't like being locked into something and they don't like being bombarded by emails. If you are sending too many emails and abusing your mailing list, you will find that people will either block you or they will be trying to unsubscribe. And if they can't, if they're trying to unsubscribe and finding that difficult, then you're going to make them annoyed/angry. And you never want to make your customers angry because they can really damage your reputation. If they're angry enough, they are going to shout from the hills. And these kinds of things have a tendency to go viral. So have clear contact details and a methodology for customers to contact you. So you can have a function on your website to put in comments, or you can just list an email address, have an info at general email address that anybody in the company, whoever's in on a given day, can check it and respond quickly to comments. You can have live chat using chatbots or person. Keep your website up to date with things that interest your consumer. And again, this is about doing your research and knowing what your customers are into. So you can share videos, blogs, podcasts, ebooks, white papers, whatever your customers are into. So you have to understand your customer. You have to stay up to date with knowing what they are into, what trends they're into, and it's not about what you are into and where your comfort zone is and so on. Even if you think you are in the target market, you base it on research, not your own preferences. So what companies are doing well in terms of customer interactions? So for every campaign, you should have a landing page. So you should have a go-to. For more information, go to blah, 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 and, a link, or even if it's on radio, go to tudublin.ie, that kind of thing. So this page is specifically created for the campaign. So if you have a specific campaign, have a specific website. So If I'm a shoe company and a man is looking for dressy shoes to go to his best man at a wedding or whatever, and we have an Instagram profile and so on. So if he clicks on the our ad on Instagram that has dressy shoes, you he it's not going to look very good if he's brought through to the page on your website that has ladies stilettos or whatever. You want to make sure that if your post is about dressy shoes for men, that when they click on it, that they're brought to where they want to go to buy those shoes or similar types of shoes. So for that same target market, you will get them bouncing out straight away if you get that wrong. So it's about making sure your backlinks are working and everything is consistent with what you're trying to do. So um so um yeah, not only, as I said, does he bounce out, so if he's brought to where the women's stiletto shoes are on the website, he's bouncing out because he doesn't want to look at those. He may not bother to click, and go manually through finding men's shoes, dressy shoes, blah blah blah, or whatever to find that pair that he that caught his eye on Instagram. But because he clicked on the link initially, we have paid. That's how we pay for the advertising. We pay per click PPC. So we've paid for him to go through to those stilettos, but we haven't got a sale out of it. So we're wasting money by making those silly mistakes. So it's, as I said, it's very important to have all those links um, properly working. Oops, have I skipped one? Let's see, where are we? Okay. So the the home page of a website is the front door, if that's where they're going initially, tudublin.ie. If you are running specific offers, you might not want your customers to use that door. So that's where we want to bring them straight to where they want to be. So if Lifestyle wants to target me with new running shoes, they can run specific ads on Facebook. So specific posts highlighting um, running shoes, runners for actual jogging and running. And if I click on that, it should bring me to those type of runners. And so again, those links, it's like a back door straight into the part of the website where we want to be. We don't want to have to click all over the place to find what it is we're looking for and what we thought we were clicking onto. So they create a special page for the campaign called a landing page. That's where we land. That's where your customer lands if they click on that Instagram post or Facebook post or TikTok, whatever it is. It brings you through to a particular part of your website. So your website, obviously, if you're doing your job right, has multiple pages. The landing page is that first one when they click through. So the design of the website should be strong. And as I said before, it should be tailored to what your target audience find pleasing on the eye and useful and user-friendly and all that. In past times, companies used to pay web designers to use various software programs. Dreamweaver was one to design a website. Um, but pretty much anybody, there are tools out there that it's just that anybody who can use Word and PowerPoint especially would be able to design a website, because there's no actual coding. It's just a matter of clicking around and using the tools within, just making yourself familiar. And WordPress is one example. So WordPress is a content management program. So it has lots of other functions in there as well, but it's designed for non-techie, non-computer graduates, basically non-IT people. These can be, so when you do your website through these programs, you can have somebody within the company that's constantly updating your website. And as I said, it doesn't take a lot of, I mean, it takes somebody who's comfortable clicking around and trying stuff, but it doesn't take a degree or anything to be able to do it. Navigation for your customer should be simple. So it should be straightforward to find what it is you're looking for, the lists, the drop down, the tabs, whatever. It should all be easily accessible, easy to spot and find, and so on. Calls to action, CTA, this is a common terminology. That should be prominent. So what are we trying to achieve with this display when they come here? So winning call to action are customer newsletters. So when you're sending out maybe a monthly email and you have some clickable options, click here for blah or whatever. Click here to sign up for spinning class. Click here for annual membership, um, sale price or callback request. Put in your number and we'll ring you back with further details. Contact us. So a little box that they can put in a comment, submit. Live chat. This is something that could be a 24-hour option if you have a bot involved. Follow us on social media. That's another call to action. So something you're trying to, so it's the calls to action are what, so every advertisement has a call to action. It's trying to get you to do something. So come in store and buy now, buy before Friday, or whatever. So all of these are something that could be used in different types of marketing campaigns. So follow us on social media. So this is where you might use traditional media to drive your digital side. So you might have an ad somewhere else, directing them, follow us on TikTok, and that kind of thing. So you can have, you're in your IMC, integrated marketing communication strategy. You could be using one type of advertising to send the customer to another form, and so on. Free trial is another option. But in order to get the free trial, you have to register or you have to sign up, sometimes looking for credit card details. And that just means that it just makes it easier if they do like it and that they want to extend and sign up for the subscription. It's just basically a couple of clicks because they've filled in most of the detail already. And it's just literally to make it as easy as possible to take the next step to purchase. There's no other. Some people are very wary of giving credit card details to sign up for something that's free. If it's a reputable site, it's literally that they are making you do the hard work in order to get the free thing. So it'll be very easy if you decide, yeah, I'm going to sign up for that gym membership. So click, boom. Request a quote. That's another thing that can be used in advertisements as well. So what are companies doing? So what companies are doing a well-designed, a good design of your website. So imagery should be specific, eye-catching and relevant. Bespoke photos are much more effective. Sorry, I'm just going to pause for 1 second.